Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's from Canto 2, Chapter 2, and Text 5. Chapter 2 and Text 5 for Canto 2. All right, so I'm also filling in a slot that's vacant, so I'll be the one giving the class. So without further ado, I'll start the class right now. Hare Krishna.
You find a company that's successful.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Privajikacharya Stotra Satsishimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Privajikacharya Stotra Satsishimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sita Dvaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktavind Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mathura Dham Ki Jai, Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Swami Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hare 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 Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Dela Swami Tinamani Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Siddharthani Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tinamani Narayana Namaskritya Narun Chevam Narotamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tatujayam Utirayat Nashya Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sivaya Bhavatu Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna devotees. So, the text today is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, and Text 5. I will chant the mantra 3 times, and anyone who feels inclined can also do so at that time. Hare Krishna. Chirani Kim Pati Nasanti Dishanti Bhiksham Nevan Gripa Parabrita Sarito Pyasastan Rudha Guha Kimajito Vatino Pashanan Kasmad Bhajanti Kavayo Danadu Madandan Chirani Kim Pati Nashanti Dishanti Bhiksham Nevan Gripa Parabrita Sarito Pyashusyan Rudha Guha Kim Ajito Vatino Pashusyan Pasanam Kasmad Bhajanti Kavayo Danadu Madandan Chirani Kim Pati Nashanti Dishanti Bhiksham Neva Gripa Parapita Sarito Pyashusyan Ruddha Guha Kimajito Vatino Pasanan Kasmat Bhajanti Kavayo Danadu Madandan. Hare Krishna.
Chiranikim patina shanti dishanti bhiksham Naivan griha paparabritta saritupyasusyan Rudha guha kimajito vatino pashanan Kasmat bhajanti kavayo danadur matadhan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Chirani kim pati nashanti dishanti bhiksham Naivangripah parabhrataha saritopi ashushyan Ruddha guha kim ajito avati nopasannan Kasamad bhajanti kavayo dhana durmadhandhan dhana durmadhandhan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? So we'll do word for word now. Chirani, torn clothes. Kim, weather. Pati, on the road. Na, not. Santi, there is. Dishanti, give in charity. Viksham, alms. Na, not. Eva, also. Angripa, the trees. Parabrita, one who maintains others. Sarita, the rivers. Api, also. Ashusyan have dried up, Rudha closed, Guha caves, Kim weather, Ajita the Almighty Lord, Avati give protection, Na not, Upasanan the surrendered soul, Kasmat what for then, Bhajanti flatters, Kavaya the learned, Dhana wealth, Drumada andan too intoxicated by. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? Report by Srila Prabhupada. The renounced order of life is never meant for begging or living at the cost of others as a parasite. According to the dictionary, a parasite is a sycophant who lives at the cost of society without making any contribution to that society. The renounced order is meant for contributing something substantial to society and not depend on the earnings and not depend on the earnings of the householders. On the contrary, acceptance of alms from the householders by the bona fide mendicant is an opportunity afforded by the saint for the tangible benefit of the donor. In the Sanatan Dharma institution, alms given to the mendicant is part of a householder's duty, and it is advised in the scriptures that the householders should treat the mendicants as their family children and should provide them with food, clothing, etc., without being asked. Pseudo-mendicants, therefore, should not take advantage of the charitable disposition of the faithful householders. The first duty of a person in the renounced order of life is to contribute some literary work for the benefit of a human being in order to give him realized direction towards self-realization. Amongst the other duties in the renounced order of life of Srila Sanatan, Srila Rupa, and the other Goswamis of Vrindavan, the foremost duty discharged by them was to hold learned discourses among themselves at Sevakunja, Vrindavan, the spot where Sri Radha Damodar Temple was established by Srila Jiva Goswami, and where the actual Samadhi tombs of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami are laid. For the benefit of all in human society, we left behind them immense literatures of transcendental importance. Similarly, all the acharyas who voluntarily accepted the renounced order of life aimed at benefiting human society and not at living a comfortable and irresponsible life at the cost of others. However, those who cannot give any contribution should not go to the householders for food. For such mendicants, asking bread from householders are an insult to the highest order. Shukadeva Goswami gave this warning especially for those mendicants who adopt this line of profession to solve their economic problems. Such mendicants are in abundance in the age of Kali. When a man becomes a mendicant willfully or by circumstances, he must be of firm faith and conviction that the Supreme Lord is the maintainer of all living beings everywhere in the universe. Why then would he neglect the maintenance of a surrendered soul who is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord? A common master looks to the necessities of his servant. So how much more would the all-powerful, all-opulent Supreme Lord look after the necessities of life for a fully surrendered soul? The general rule is that a mendicant devotee will accept a simple, small loincloth without asking anyone to give it in charity. He simply salvages it from the rejected torn cloth thrown in the street. When he is hungry, he may go to a magnanimous tree which drops fruits, and when he is thirsty, he may drink water from the flowing river. He does not require to live in a comfortable house, but should find a cave in the hills and not be afraid of jungle animals, keeping faith in God who lives in everyone's heart. The Lord may dictate to tigers and other jungle animals not to disturb his devotee. Haridas Thakur, a great devotee of Lord Sri Chaitanya, used to live in a cave, and by chance, a great venomous snake was a co-partner of the cave. Some admirer of Thakur Haridas, who had to visit the Thakur every day, feared the snake and suggested that the Thakur leave that place. Because his devotees were afraid of the snake, and they were regularly visiting the cave. Thakur Haridas then agreed to the proposal on their account. But as soon as this was settled, the snake actually crawled out of its hole in the cave and before everyone present and left the cave for good. By the dictation of the Lord, who lived also within the heart of the snake gave preference to Haridas and decided to leave the place and not disturb him. So this is a tangible example of how the Lord gives protection to a bona fide devotee like Thakur Haridas. According to the regulation of the Sanatana Dharma institution, one is trained from the beginning to depend fully on the protection of the Lord in all circumstances. The path of renunciation is recommended for acceptance by one who is fully accomplished and fully purified in his existence. This stage is described also in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, text 5, as Daivi Sampat. A human being is required to accumulate Daivi Sampat or spiritual assets. Otherwise, the next alternative, Asuri Sampat or material assets, will overcome him disproportionately, and thus one will be forced into the entanglement of different miseries of the material world. The sannyasi should always live alone without company, and he must be fearless. He should never be afraid of living alone, although he is never alone. The Lord is residing in everyone's heart, and unless one is purified by the prescribed process, one will feel that he is alone. But a man in the renounced order of life must be purified by the process. Thus, he will feel the presence of the Lord everywhere and will have nothing to fear, such as being without any company. Everyone can become a fearless and honest person if his very existence is purified by discharging the prescribed duty for each and every order of life. One can become fixed in one's prescribed duty by faithful oral reception of Vedic instructions and assimilation of the essence of Vedic knowledge by devotional service to the Lord. Hare Krishna. Om Aginati Vidandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Gyana Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirveshesha Sunyavari Paschatyadi Satarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. The English translation again. Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees, which exist for maintaining others, no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers, being dried up, no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the Almighty not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? Hare Krishna. So this is Srila Sukadeva Goswami describing this another part of the importance of renunciation. Material renunciation we hear over and over and over again. Don't get attached to it. Don't get attached to material enjoyment, because the downside of it is it keeps us in the material world. It will put us in another body. The hantara prapti. Hirastatana muhyati. The soul is going through a body which is a baby's body, then a teenager's body, then later an adult's body, then an old person's body, like that. And then when the body is no longer functional, we call it death, the soul comes out of a body, then there's another body. So that will continue as long as the person that is to leave the body is thinking materially. And that's why, to our way of looking at life now, this text may seem extreme in terms of renunciation. But the point that Sukadeva Goswami has made is definitely the case, because there are clothes that are discarded. There are trees that give fruits that are nutritious. There are rivers that, if not contaminated, can supply clean water. When I was in elementary school, I remember there were some my classmates who lived like 5 or so miles away from the school, and they would walk to the school. This is nothing for them. They walk and they converse, and then they find themselves in the school. They just do that. Now, one time I was with them and they were thirsty. I was used to drinking tap water, and they just there was a stream, a very small stream, and they looked at the quality of the stream, and it looked very, very clear. And they put their hand in it, and they just cupped some water in their palm, and they started drinking it. Now, I'm told that there may be some germs in there. There were 3 of them. They all drank water. I didn't. Then we went on. The next few days, the next few weeks, nothing happened to them. They were not sick. So that was interesting. That was a lesson for me to learn. Although I still didn't drink because I didn't really need to. But in those days, the rivers and some of the small streams especially, they were actually clean enough to drink. So Shukadeva Goswami is making a point that is not far-fetched at all. It was actually not long ago, life was like that. And definitely his point making about the caves or the mountains not closed, they're there for everyone. You don't pay any mortgage, you don't pay any rent, you just live there. And it's just as protective as any nice fancy house against the weather. And he makes his most important point. Does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam praja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishami masuchaha. Krishna says, abandon the varieties of all kinds of religion and surrender to me, fully surrender to me. Yat karosi, yat asnasi, yat juhosi, dadasi yat. He's saying that whatever you eat, whatever you do, whatever you offer, do that as an offering to me. And even in your surrender, in your tapasya, all of that should be done as an offering to me. Does Krishna need these things? Absolutely not. We need him. But we have to learn how to love him. And therefore, a person that is in the Bhakti Yoga path, that knows that the aim of a devotee is Krishna Prema, how to love God, will then obey or follow the instructions given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And this one was in Bhagavad Gita. In fact, the other one before was also in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 66. So, and Krishna says, think of me. Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yajimam namaskuru. Chapter 18, text 65. He says, always think of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me. Why? You do that, you will come to me without a doubt. You will not be dealing with any kind of anxieties anymore in one's life. Everything will be provided. Whatever we do for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to serve him, he gives us way more than that, especially back in the spiritual world. Life couldn't be better. So we are actually at the situation, we are in a situation where we're on the path back to Godhead. But Sukadeva Goswami is making the point that while we want to go back to Godhead, it also means that we have to stay away from too much involvement in material niceties. That we have to stay away from. If we want one thing, then we have to give up the other. That's all. You want one thing, you give up the other. So, in so many ways, I tell a funny story that I saw on the video. So, there was one of the monkeys in Vrindavan, took somebody's glasses and spectacles, literally took them, and that person is obviously depending on the glasses to be able to see. Then another person saw what had happened, went to the monkey and offered the monkey a banana. The monkey was holding the spectacles, the glasses, with one hand. They offered the banana, so the monkey took it with the other hand. Then the guy offered another banana. And this time, the monkey wanted to take it with the other hand, but the other hand was holding the glasses. So the monkey put the glasses down and took the other banana, and this guy took the glasses and gave it back to the owner. You have to give up something in order to get another thing. So that was just, even though it was for the person that owned the glasses, he was extremely grateful that a quick thinking person solved the situation. But the point for us is you have to give up in order to get another. The same hand. We have to open it up, take out as a matter of, matter of expressing the material things so that the spiritual can now flow into our lives. That's all. And in doing so, Sukadeva Goswami says, simplify your life, and above all, the Almighty Lord will protect those who have surrendered unto him. He does that daily. Sometimes when things are unfolding, we don't understand why, but the Lord is always aware of what's going on and is the cause of all causes, and especially the protector of his devotees. That we should have full faith in. Now, in the purport, the Prabhupada said that renounced order of life is not meant for begging or living at the cost of another, like a parasite. So a renunciate, we call a sannyasi, moves from one place to another, especially the experience we have here in ISKCON are the sannyasis that are at the Parivrajagacharya and Paramahamsa stage. Parivrajagacharya sannyasi is one that travels and preaches. That's Parivrajagacharya. So there are actually four stages. There's Kutichak, Bahudak, Parivrajagacharya, and then Paramahamsa sannyasis. Kutichak is a person that is from the order before that, the ashram before that, which is Banaprastha ashram. They have wife, but when they get to the sannyas, then they leave the wife. The wife is not living too far away. They live in a place that's not too far away from the wife so that the wife can still give prashadam to them and take care of them, even though they're not living under the same roof. Then Bahudak is when the wife stops. And that's the one that Shukadeva Goswami is talking about. Bahudak sannyasi is the one that does not take prashadam from the wife anymore, but actually goes from door to door and preaches, and the householders or the owners or the people living there would give some sort of support to that. And so in that, Srila Prabhupada is saying, and that's that from that level on, and Parivraja Kacharya and Paramahansa, all they do that, living with the living supported by householders. So it says, according to the dictionary, a parasite is one that appeases others and lives at the cost of the society, and they don't make any contribution to that society. Now, an important word that is put here is contribution. They don't make contribution to that society. Sannyasis are supposed to make very, very significant contribution to society. What contribution? Well, it has to be a spiritual type of contribution. They live at the full expense, true enough, of householders, the generosity of householders, but they also give to the householders Krishna consciousness, which help them, the householders, to remember Krishna and to serve Krishna with determination. The sannyasi or the renunciate is 100% life, living a life 100% devoted to serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they shouldn't live like parasites, one person and it's all right, they don't contribute to the society, they don't do anything, but they just end the sannyas clothes, and then they go to a house and the person just gives them, something for sustenance. So a sycophant is one who praises powerful or rich people in such a way that is not sincere, but the idea is usually to take some advantage and get something from them. So accepting alms from the householders by bona fide mendicants that's an opportunity for the sadhu, the renunciate, to preach to the householder. Sanatana Goswami, when he moved to Vrindavan on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was going around to houses. He also wrote a lot, just like Rupa Goswami did. But he was also going to houses, and he was not really concerned about being supported by them. He was more concerned about their welfare. So, and he knew that the householders were involved with the material energy, and there were so many things that they were doing. And he actually would ask them how life was, even their livestock, how they're doing. So not just the members of a family, but even the animals that were with the family, the cows and other animals, even that their welfare was of concern to Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami opened himself up to any questions that they wanted to ask him. And they asked him material questions. Sanatana Goswami was actually in the government of Nawab Hussain Shah. So he was in touch with the material energy before he left and came to join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he knew all of these things at quite a high level, even materially. So he would give them, and he was very smart, so he was giving them very good advice. But he always gave them advice in such a way that their material solution to whatever question that they were asking would be given, but he would also impart Krishna consciousness in the process to it. so that the person gets the answer to this to his or her material situation that they want to deal with. At the same time, they will get some benefit of spiritual instruction from Sanatana Goswami. So they really liked him a lot. In fact, literally, they loved him. But he also spent time writing books, which is something this year Prabhupada says here that the sannyasis need to do. The first duty of a person in the renounced order of life is to contribute some literary work for the benefit of the human being. And that would give the person, everybody else, directions towards self-realization. And we see that's happening now. Many of our sannyasis have books. Some people have one, some people have more than one book that they've already written. And every one of those books guides us wonderfully, different ways to look at Bhakti Yoga and learn from, and also progress that way. So the 6 Goswamis in Vrindavan, they would hold discourses among themselves, which is not surprising at all to hear, because this is how they excite themselves by discussing Krishna. Martita Markita Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantas Jamam Nityam Tushanti Cha Romanti Cha. The pure devotees of the Lord carry Krishna in their hearts, and everything about them involves Krishna consciousness. They will hold discussions among themselves, sometimes just debates among themselves. Sometimes the one person will be speaking and the rest of them will be listening. But and it's about Krishna consciousness, and it very much excites them. This is their life, make them very, very, very happy. Krishna consciousness wakes up the soul. Srila Prabhupada one time made a point and says, did I bribe these young American boys and girls, as he called them at that time? They were quite young. I did not give them any bribe. They came. But why did they stay with me? It's because Krishna consciousness is already in their heart, and all I did was awaken it by the mercy of my Guru. Awaken Krishna consciousness that's already there, which means those who are not in Krishna consciousness, it is still in their heart, but it's in a dormant state. And as long as it is in a dormant state, if this life is led to the very end, then they're going to get another body. They're going to get another body and keep staying here in the material world, in another situation, in another place, in another family, and thinking that that's their all in all. But they're never really going to be happy, as we well know, because this material world is not designed to make people happy. It's designed for the intelligent person to get fed up with this place and then make a real genuine effort to leave. So once we are in Krishna consciousness, we are in the right path back to Godhead, out of the jail, which is the material world, back to Godhead. And we need to do our duty, no matter what ashram that we're in. We have to do our duty as the sannyasis are doing their duty, grihastas, the brahmacharis, the vanapras, they all. It's very important that they do their duties and take it very, very seriously. One important point that was made by Shukadeva Goswami is that the Lord's attention is on his devotee. So much so that Haridas Thakur, who at some point was living in a cave, was actually living with a venomous snake who was also in the cave, People knew he was an Amacharya, and they really, really wanted to associate with him. As it said that when one associates with a pure devotee of the Lord for even a moment, so much spiritual benefit is given. Therefore, people who knew that he was there in the cave wanted to visit him, but they also knew that the snake was there. The snake never attacked Haridas Thakur. Why? Well, the evidence is there. This is the evidence that the snake didn't attack Haridas Thakur. Two of them. One, that Krishna protects. And two, that Krishna is in the heart of the snake, in the heart of all living entities. Hmm? So when Haridas Thakur, being compassionate, noted that the people who were coming to visit him were afraid of the snake, and they were asking that he leave the cave. When he agreed to do that, then Krishna, as Paramatma in the heart of the snake, caused the snake to actually come out of its hole in the cave and in front of everyone, just slither out of the cave, never to return. Mm-hmm. So another thing we learn from is if we take Bhakti Yoga seriously to serve devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he makes arrangements for us as well as those who are associating with us for reasons of Bhakti Yoga to learn from. We all benefit. He makes arrangements to make sure that we can go on. As Srila Prabhupada one time made the point about why do people go to ask for their daily bread or ask for material things from the Supreme Personality of Godhead? For food? He says 8 million types of bodies that these souls occupy are not human bodies. Not a single one of them prays to the Lord for anything. But they do eat, the Lord cares for them. And how much more the person who is in the, or the soul who is in the human body, would they not be cared for by the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Yes, they will. And so we should find ways to serve the Lord, and he will take care of us as long as we are determined that no matter what situation it is that we face, we will, in fact, and no matter what ashram we're in, or varna for that matter, that we're in, we will serve the Lord and serve the Lord's devotees and serve the spiritual master. So we are very, very, very fortunate. We should never forget that. That we are in a situation where we can go back home, that many, many people are not connecting to Krishna consciousness yet. They're not as fortunate as we are, although we don't spend so much time thinking about that. But the important thing is, how can we help them to also be able to go back to Godhead, take to this particular process? So we need to, whatever ways in which we have used in order to get people to get to or to change their lifestyle into the Krishna conscious lifestyle, we should not only do it, we should also share it. So other people also use those kinds of techniques to get more people involved in it. Otherwise, the overwhelming majority of people will just be going to a situation with another life, and life is not going to get better in the next lifetime. It doesn't, because the whole planet itself is such that people who stay in it go through changes, go through difficulties, and we don't like difficulties. Well, so Srila Prabhupada, for the most part, talked about the renunciate. But it's important for us also. Renunciation is not for sannyasis only. There is a book called Renunciation Through Knowledge. And in chapter 1 of the book, there's a certain section that says, all types of good and pious activities, like yoga, for us, bhakti yoga, cultivation of knowledge, austerity, renunciation. Now, if a person does all of that, or maybe the other types of yoga, like hatha yoga, just to treat the body, make the body more useful. But if they are not used to get ourselves loving the Supreme Personality, to increase our love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then all of this type of austerities, and they're applied for nothing. It's misapplied labor, as Srila Prabhupada likes to put it. Misapplied. All the difficulties that we go through should be that we want to use that to serve devotees, and want to use that to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We want to use that to serve Guru. So renunciation is there for everyone, but there's proper and improper renunciation. Hmm? Some people, they make a show of renunciation. Hmm? And sometimes even things that could be used to serve the Lord, they will reject it because it's supposed to be part of renunciation. Therefore, I won't touch it. Shiv Prabhupada make the point that we don't own anything. Therefore, we really cannot renounce anything. But when we talk about renunciation for a devotee, what we need to do is whatever is in our possession, we use it to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly or indirectly. That's our renunciation. If you don't own something, how can you renounce? As Michael Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj gave one example, which was really to the point, that he said, it's like somebody going to New York and standing on the Brooklyn Bridge and making an announcement to everyone that I renounce the Brooklyn Bridge. I renounce the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't want it. People will look at him like, are you crazy? You don't own Brooklyn Bridge. So how can you renounce something you don't own? But actually, it is true for everybody. Because we came to this world, we were born in this world with nothing. And when it comes to death, we're going to leave this world without anything. So if you're born with nothing and leaving with nothing, how do you own anything? Whatever is in our care is just a material arrangement. And Krishna looks at that side. All right, so this is in our care. What are we going to do with it? We're going to use it to serve our own senses, or are we going to use it in Bhakti Yoga to serve devotees, Guru, and Krishna? When we use what's in our possession to serve Krishna, that's our definition of renunciation, because we really don't own anything. In the ultimate sense, we don't own anything. So the objects in the material world, the Prabhupada says they're not meant for our enjoyment, but it's for the Lord's service. That's the mood of one in Krishna consciousness or transcendental consciousness. So all activities performed in this consciousness, not consciousness, serving Krishna, serving the Buddha, serving Guru, that is true renunciation. Whatever we give for service, that's Yukta Vairagya. There is false renunciation or Palgu Vairagya. We don't want to do that. So we have to understand what renunciation is. And of course, the Papa spent quite a bit of time talking about sannyasis and their renunciation, what to and what not to do. Now, the final point is from Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift, the small book. In chapter 5, the Papa explains a very important point. And it says, when renunciation is recommended in Bhagavad Gita, it refers to renunciation of everything that we claim to possess. As we said already, we falsely claim to possess because we never were born with it and we can't leave with anything. So you give an example. Now, a child may have $100 bill in their hand. It's from his father. They'll try to keep it even though at that age they don't know how to use it. The father knows that he should get the money from the child, but the child wants to hang on to it. So the father may beg the child and say, my dear boy, kindly give it to me. The child may not know that the money actually belongs to the father. And he doesn't know what the best use of the money is, that it's actually for his own good to hand it to the father. He just simply does not know how to use it. So in the same way, Krishna says, renounce your work for me. Renounce your wealth for me. Renounce your property for me. Krishna is not a beggar. Everything belongs to him. But he treats us just like this small children example here. So if we comply to his request and give everything to him, that's called renunciation. And that way is one of the means to attain elevation. to Krishna consciousness. And that is for our own good. Therefore, we should think in terms of everything that we have, how to serve the Lord with it. And we will be happier the more we serve the Lord with it. And the more things that we bring into service to the Lord, and even our own efforts and our intelligence and our strength, use it in serving Supreme Personality of Godhead. The worst thing anybody can do is to begin to pull away from service. That's the worst thing. If you pull away from devotional service, you're telling Krishna, I don't really care much about you. Well, then how can you go back home? Those who are madly in love with Krishna are the ones that are home. Home in the spiritual world, that is. Therefore, no one. Sometimes Maya tries to get us to think that, oh, this I have to do that, I have to do that, therefore I don't have time to do service. Oh, I used to do this, but it's so tiring, therefore I'm not going to. This is all suggestions from Maya to test you that whether you really are interested in serving. And as soon as you do that, then of course Maya will provide other things that are material and says, go enjoy yourself. See, it's better. You buy into it, you're in trouble. Don't do that until your last breath and look back and say, oh, I used my life so selfishly for myself. And now I want Krishna, but I never served Krishna when I had the energy to. It's too late. It's too late. So we should never be enamored by things that are material that's around us. We should live in this world, but not be off this world, because our world is the spiritual world. That's where we really want to go. And that's the place of no anxiety. So if we do that, then we begin to be really happy. And that's why renunciation is so important. So in our own way, take things that we have, use it in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that will bring us happiness. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you very much for allowing me to do the service. Now, if you want to make a comment, you can unmute yourself and do so now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance to Soga Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
I had a question and you answered it, and thank you for answering it, is how can we, at least I can speak for myself, I'm not a sannyasi, I'm not a mendicant or whatever. So, someone in my position or in my, status or whatever, in my life, how can we renounce? What does it mean to renounce? Because whenever we hear the word renounce, we immediately associate it with a sannyasi. It just, the mind just goes there, or renounce means become a sannyasi. But here, Shri Prabhupada is giving us a deeper meaning of renounce, is how can we renounce our attachments?
Yes.
If I'm understanding correctly, how can I renounce my attachments? How can I renounce my desires? How can I renounce, what I want? And, and really do that evaluation or that assessment, because the more we renounce what we are attached to, how we want things, or, our desires or whatever, it brings us closer to the Lord. So that was a nice point that you mentioned, which I said that was my question, but then you answered it. So thank you.
Yeah, it's important to actually connect as many things that are in our possession. We didn't say the things that we own, the things that are in our possession, and use that to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Our children are also our family members. And so if we direct them also to Krishna consciousness, on a more serious note, it will be very beneficial for them. As a matter of fact, Srila Prabhupada says there's no point being a parent if you cannot bring your children to Krishna consciousness. No point. Because you've had another person, another soul, this time in a human body, which is the type of body that you can use to understand Krishna and therefore go back home. And we haven't done anything to have the child go in that direction. And speaking about involving children in Krishna consciousness, children are into play and just feeling happy, from through innocence. Therefore, Krishna consciousness introduced that way is very effective. Krishna consciousness introduced in a playful way for children is very effective. Because that's what they used to, that's what they would like to do. Srila Prabhupada himself, he was given small deities, a small Rathyatra cart, and then he performed his own Rathyatra in his neighborhood with the children. If you involve children that way, in small, little by little things that they're interested in, even the things that they are interested in that you get to see, find ways to turn it into a Krishna conscious activity. And so they'll be playing, but then they will be also learning how to connect with Krishna. And that way, when they grow older, it's just natural to them because they've been doing it since they were young in play, but they were still doing it when they were young. So that way, we can, in fact, bring Krishna consciousness to every family of devotees. Hare Krishna. Any other devotee wants to unmute and share or ask a question? If not, then we thank you very much for coming on. It's a nice start of the week. And it's also Nirjala Ekadashi today, just an announcement. I'm sure it's been put in many places electronically as messages. So we have Nirjala Ekadashi today.
If I can make a quick announcement, is because it's Nirjala Ekadasi. This is a last minute planning, but we just, whoever can come has come. But we just thought of it this morning. Is if it being Ekadasi, and especially Nirjala Ekadasi, if anyone is inspired to come to Kirtan at the temple for 1 hour, from 6:30 to 7:30 this evening, we're having Kirtan, the chanting of the holy name on a very auspicious Nirjala Ekadasi. Please do take some time out of your busy schedule. We are always busy, and we will always continue to be busy until our last breath. And I think we all know that for a fact. But it's also very nice to do a little inconvenience on our busy schedule and just give the Lord 1 hour. And I'm sure it'll be very pleasing to the Lord. That's the essence, is what can we do to please the Lord? That should be our, our meditation. What can we do to please the Lord? So we have 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Kirtan at the temple for 1 hour on this very auspicious Nirjala Ekadasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I hope many people that want to come can rearrange the schedule and make it to the temple. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhasya kripa sunive evacha titanam pavanevyo vaishnavevyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.